All right. We're so grateful for the recordings of the Singing Messengers, and I'm Reverend Will McGarvey, and we're glad that you're here with us. I'm going to run through a lot of our 2020 accomplishments, and one of the big ones has been the big shift into from a pre-COVID world to a post-COVID world. And this is what our elected council meetings would normally look like as we meet in the fellowship hall at Hillcrest Congregational, where we office. There's also been really good programming that a Rossmoor Interfaith Council has been putting on in Rossmoor, and we were able to do a really good program on the United Nations Human Rights Day, December 10th, on understanding Kashmir and the plight of the Uyghurs. And when we didn't understand enough to have a dialogue about this during one of our meetings, we decided let's have an educational program. So Mount Diablo UU Church helped us, and we were able to have some speakers like Reverend Victor Kazanjian, who's going to be speaking later tonight, giving our keynote, as well as some folks from the region that really understand the plight of the folks in that area. And so that's one of our roles is education, but we've also been a big part of the Poor People's Campaign, and this was one of the Bay Area rallies at with Reverend Dr. William Barber at Glide Church in San Francisco. And of course, I serve Interfaith San Ramon Valley. Just 11 months this time, was lighting the Hanukkah candles, and religious leaders from many different congregations coming together for that. And of course, we were part of the Women's March and had a table there, and put on an interfaith service with Rabbi Nikki from Temple Isaiah before the Women's March. And our ICANN group had a great table there, and they've been doing great advocacy all year. But keeping the witness of the faith community has been an important piece as well. On Martin Luther King Day, we had a witness before the service at noon, and people could bring out their Black Lives Matter signs and be able to help get folks to join us. And we had Dr. Toinette Eugene, one of the professors from the seminary where Dr. King attended, preaching at our Soja's MLK Day service. And Rabbi Dan gave a great benediction that day as well. Reverend Julius gave a sermon that afternoon at San Ramon Valley United Methodist for their MLK event. There was a Witness Our Welcome interfaith service for the open and affirming congregations. And we were able to help Winter Nights be able to gather 13 East County congregations to co-host in East County this year. And one of those congregations was a new one, the East Bay Church, brought their mobile showers every Sunday afternoon for the clients. They operated a parking lot program for most of the year through May, and even had help from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints missionaries who helped with the load in and load out for the 8 weeks that they did in February in East County. July 1st, we launched Winter Nights Family Shelter as an independent nonprofit. And so thanks to Judy Stillman, who is here with us, they're doing a really great job. And they started and opened their shelter even under COVID restrictions on November 2nd. Their website's the same, so check them out and volunteer with them. The other big thing that we've been doing the last couple of years are our retreats. And we did 8 retreats last year on the 12 steps to a life of compassion, and we did 4 retreats this year on the spirituality of protecting and honoring Mother Earth. And we did the first one at San Damiano, but then after the restrictions, we did the rest online. In fact, our last event that we did before the restrictions came into play was March 8th, and it was International Women's Day, and we had a great panel that Terry Moss, our vice chair, moderated with Pastor Johanna Wagner, Kate Boisvert, Eartha Newsong, Bushra Gill, and Courtney Cummings, all talking about their faith journeys. And of course, everything changed, even our faith traditions, when COVID came. We had to think about how do we encourage people to wash their hands? How do we think about sharing, even toilet paper? How do we pray for one another? How do we recognize the needs as so many people around the world were dying? And how do we raise our voices, especially for those that are incarcerated, so that their time in jail doesn't become a death sentence? It really has been an amazing season for us. with the lockdown, but also looking back to how our forebears in faith made do 100 years ago when the Spanish flu was creating very, very similar societal response. And a lot of the ways that we have been able to see the response around the world has been important as well. But it's also reminded us of all that we've lost. And even tonight, not being able to have our interfaith potluck, which is usually so great, and something I look forward to a large part of the year, has made us think about what is this new normal. And if we get a chance to rethink what is the new normal, maybe we can create a better world out of it. So one of the ways that we adapted was having meaningful Monday gatherings online every week on Monday. And these have been fascinating, deep interfaith dialogues with different people showing up every week, speaking from their own social location and faith tradition and being able to talk about what matters most. We've moved our elected council meetings online as well. Even Reverend Channing Miller got ordained with the Chaplaincy Institute online. So all of our programming has moved online, but that also means that we've been able to expand a lot of the recordings that we have on our Interfaith Council's YouTube channel. And if you look through here, some of these meetings are like our elected council meetings. We also did some interviews with folks from different traditions. We were able to do big questions with the Rossmoor Interfaith, and even some interviews with some of our regional partners like Tamil Sharma with the United Religions Initiative. We were also able to do some of the vigils and the Black Lives Matter kinds of programming that we have wanted to do for some time. Ben Jones was able to share a meditation with his singing bowls. And we even put our International Day of Peace program online, and information about our new eye care program that you're going to hear about in just a minute. But we were even able to do co-host an event with SOJA, the Interfaith Council, the United Nations Model UN Club at DVC, and Mount Diablo Peace and Justice Center on a commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. And there's a link here. If you like that link, you're more than welcome to use that. It's a little easier than the big long one that YouTube gives us. But all of the programming that we've done has tried to be in response to all of the needs going on in our world. And we've done white fragility book studies with our board. We've been able to come together and encourage congregations to do a 21-day racial equity challenge. We hosted an Interfaith Vigil for those who have lost loved ones on May 1st. We did a Black Lives Are Sacred Vigil on June 8th. Learning about Juneteenth event on the day before. Reverend Dr. Dale Weatherspoon led a program on cultural mindfulness and cultural competency to help us. And since then, we've been able to focus more, since we got a small grant from the Lesher Foundation to bring in more teachers, like Reverend Shonda Jaw, who did a great presentation, one of the best ones I've seen on systemic racism. What does it take to take on the system? These are all recordings that are on our YouTube channel already. And the next in our series of anti-racism trainings will be in a couple weeks on November 18th at 7 p.m. with Fresh Lev White on easing suffering with self-compassion, becoming more available to others. Of course, we're going to do our Interfaith Thanksgiving service, but instead of different ones at different regions, we're trying to bring a lot of the different groups together, including Interfaith Council, Multi-Faith Action, and Faith in Action, and their C5 Clergy Caucus for Sunday, November 22nd at 4 o'clock. And then we're offering an I foresee Implicit Bias Training with Fresh Love White coming back on January 31st for an afternoon of understanding our own implicit bias. So those are all the kinds of programs we've been doing this year, and we're going to have a short video here about our Interfaith Juvenile Chaplaincy and I Change with Reverend Julius Van Hook.
Reverend Julius Van Hook here, 2020 in review. Oh, what a year. Reflecting on all that we've experienced in 2020, I can honestly say that I am grateful. We have been able to continue our chaplaincy ministry servicing the Juvenile Hall there in Martinez, as well as the Ord Allen Youth Rehabilitation Facility, also known as the Byron Boys Ranch there in Byron. As a result of COVID, things got quite interesting, and we had to come up with a variety of ways to provide ministry to the young people that we serve. So we established something that we call the Pen Pal program. And that program, we send letters of encouragement, notes, and cards into the facility to continue to be emotional support and spiritual support to the young people that we serve. We have also gotten more volunteers from different places and other things of that nature. We have a new committee called iChange. We are working to support my mission as the chaplain. This group of people is a diverse group of wonderful, committed people who are coming up with a mentoring program so that we can help with reentry and aftercare. So much looking forward to that. I invite you to be a part, be a mentor, learn more about the iChange initiative and the iChange committee for the Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County. We are looking forward to great things. We're looking forward to helping more young people to have their tattoos removed with our tattoo removal program. We're looking forward to our alliance with Reverend Tinsley's Getting Out of Dodge program to continue to help young people to get a new lease on life and do something different, to move forward and become all that they can be. I would like to thank the Interfaith Council, all of the governing board members, as well as the elected council members, and our partners for continuing to support the work of chaplaincy. And I want you to know that your giving and your support is not, has not, and will not be in vain. Thank you. God bless, and Ashe.
Ashe, Reverend Julius. If you want to join this new committee that's just getting organized, you can talk to Reverend Julius, Margaret Niles, or myself. They're meeting the first Thursday of the month at 3:30 on Zoom. Next is the Social Justice Alliance report. We now have a report from our Social Justice Alliance, and we'll be hearing from Christina Martin and Joe Kerner, who serve as co-chairs, and appreciate all the good work that you do. Take it away, Christina.
Thank you, Will. The Social Justice Alliance group has had quite a year. As usual, we began with January's Martin Luther King Day celebration at Walnut Creek Presbyterian Church. In February, our beloved leaders, Dolores Logue and Gwen Watson, announced their retirements. Our March meeting was planned to discuss how to move forward and which roles would be assigned to whom. The March and then April meetings, however, were canceled because of the pandemic and shelter-in-place rules. In May, we held our first Zoom meeting, and quite a few new people attended, some even from Sacramento. Still struggling with organizational issues, we welcomed each other and talked about this new world in which we found ourselves. Then came statistics regarding the sick and dying of COVID, the murder of George Floyd right before our eyes, the demonstrations and local protests. At our June meeting, a group from Concord attended, asking us to join the movement to defund the Concord police. Suddenly, social justice had become a local and national rallying cry. For those of you that may not know, our Martin Luther King celebration had its roots in a gathering called together directly on the heels of the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 1992. The day after the riots had begun, pastors from 3 congregations in Walnut Creek gathered with about 30 church members to agonize about the racial violence ripping apart Los Angeles and to agree together that Los Angeles' pain was in some measure our own. This group agreed to explore their roles in the issues that created agony and injustices in our communities. Unfortunately, here we are facing the same injustices almost 30 years later. Progress feels much too slow. However, we must continue to press forward our goal for racial justice, respect, and love.
So we did. At our June meeting, we decided to appoint a committee to compose and send a letter to local officials supporting Black Lives Matter and condemning police violence. The Interfaith Council approved the letter and signed on with SOJA. Possibly as a result of the letter, some SOJA members were invited to participate in a Zoom dialogue between local clergy and Walnut Creek's mayor, city manager, and a police force representative about protests and violence. Our July meeting was an educational session on police tactics for handling crowds and criminals. Earlier in the year, we had invited Carol McKenzie to speak on nuclear disarmament at our August meeting, because this year is the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In September, SOJA co-sponsored an International Day of Peace program with the Peace and Justice Center. And in October, a SOJA member arranged a Zoom meeting to commemorate the United Nations 75th anniversary. SOJA is now planning our annual Martin Luther King Day again. Celebration will be held on January 18th, 2021. It will also be online on Zoom. Throughout this year, SOJA has been developing a group leadership style of governance, continuing the democratic example of our former co-leaders, Gwen Watson and Dolores Logue. Several of us, besides Tina and myself, have taken on the duties of the organization, helping to take minutes and lead meetings and represent us at Interfaith Council. We'll honor and thank both Dolores Logue and Gwen Watson at our November meeting this coming Wednesday with certificates of appreciation. SOJA continues to hold monthly meetings. The agenda always includes other local groups whose activities touch on social justice issues, and we look for opportunities to support these groups. Our meetings also leave space to discuss new local and national and international concerns as they arise, and time to follow up on open subjects, which this year include Black Lives Matter and local police practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe and Christina. And Reverend Julius Van Hook will be the preacher at the MLK Day service on January 18th at noon online. Marjorie Musante is the director of our Singing Messengers, and here is her report.
Hello, Interfaith Council members. I'm Marjorie Musante, director of the Singing Messengers. Last March, with the sudden advent of COVID-19, our mission of healing through music was abruptly halted in all 57 facilities we serve throughout Contra Costa County. Our organization held a meeting to discuss future plans. We had to make difficult decisions. Then we needed to inform our nursing homes. Our facilities letter began, "To our family of Singing Messengers senior facilities and their hardworking activities directors. Due to the pandemic, I'm guessing this is a very stressful time for you and your residents. I can't imagine the heroic work you must be accomplishing every day. We are so grateful to you for your loving care of our cherished residents, who continue to be in our thoughts and prayers. We have truly missed visiting your facilities and singing with your clients. The Singing Messengers look forward to resuming our musical season with you, but as of now, that happy reunion seems a long way off. So let's hear about our current situation. Right now, our patients are generally restricted to their rooms, unable to socialize, attend activities, or even enjoy a meal together. Most are not allowed to see their families except through glass and at a distance. All this has been devastating to the Singing Messengers as we are unable to continue our work. To further complicate our efforts, our members represent a vulnerable community who is trying to work with an even more vulnerable group of individuals. Naturally, We cannot safely meet in a choral setting right now to practice our music. We thought of doing virtual performances, but for us, the necessary technology to bring singers together in performance just wouldn't work for most of our singers. That is why we regretfully had to cancel our entire Singing Messengers season, fall, winter, and spring. We are eagerly looking forward to the day when our clients and members will have the access to safe and effective vaccine against COVID-19. Hopefully, we will be able to return in the fall. To that end, a team of us have been busily working on creating new programs, gathering costumes and props, even working out some of the choreography for the music. These activities help give us hope that we will again be able to meet with our clients. As all of us move forward through this pandemic, I'm sure I join each of you in working hard to find joy and meaning in each day, always remembering how blessed we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. We appreciate your good work. One of the newest programs that we've just begun this year is called iCare, Interfaith Community Action Revitalization. And we've been able to, Terry Moss is going to give us a report just briefly, but we've been able to hire Greg Kremenliev as our iCare Outreach Coordinator. And so we want to give you his information. It's inside your annual report as well. So Terry, take away, give us the takeaways about everything we can learn about iCare today.
My pleasure. Hi, everyone. It's with great pleasure that I'll talk to you about iCare that started in July as a thought. And our first project, our pilot project, was the one that you see right here, which was a coordinated effort between the Lafayette Orinda Presbyterian Church and Sufism Reoriented, where together in a highly orchestrated COVID-safe way, they bought and assembled hygiene kits, over 500, that also included compassionate notes of encouragement and were distributed through the Contra Costa County Homeless Health and Home Housing Center. And so that was a tremendously successful project, and we learned from it, which was really important. The idea of iCare is that it takes, we partner up with nonprofit organizations in the county to help them serve people in need. And the magic behind it is that we want to encourage interfaith relationship building. So we've created a Sign Up Genius program that is the focal point for congregations to come together and co-sponsor projects. This project that you're looking at was one that where Monument Crisis Center was looking for Thanksgiving fixings. And the Unity Church of Walnut Creek and the Islamic Center of Walnut Creek partnered together to provide many bags of Thanksgiving fixings. Another project that we have done was with Trinity Center, where they were wanting 300 breakfast bags a week. And so this is my favorite group, by the way, my Interfaith Women's Circle. And together we purchased and assembled, again, outside in someone's driveway, socially distanced, included notes of encouragement, over 300 breakfast bags. And there was another group, Women's Interfaith group, that also did another 300 plus breakfast bags. So we also have other projects coming up, and this is the next one is going to be Shelter Inc., where, oh, I'm sorry, before that, more hygiene kits. It's a cooperative, massive project between the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Temple Isaiah in the north, and Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and a church in San Ramon, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which one, putting together 1,000 hygiene kits. That's going to be happening next week. We then have another project with Shelter Inc., where we'll be collecting either gift cards or clothing for their children and adults. And then in January and February, we're going to be working with Opportunity Junction to do informational interview fair and interviewing skills. And then finally in March, at least for now, Habitat for Humanity, helping them with their projects. So here's how we would love to have your engagement. We need two congregations to co-sponsor a project. And once we have that, then we can open it up to all of our members to sign up and volunteer. And we encourage you to look at our Sign Up Genius. You can get that from our website. You may look forward to getting a call from Greg, who's going to be contacting our members to let you know about these projects and encourage you to participate. The interfaith experience really is enriching, not only for your own, being able to share your own faith with other people. You learn about other people's faiths from people that you may not have otherwise been in contact with. And one thing that all of our faith traditions share is a love and need and valuing of service. So I want to thank all of you for your participation so far, and for all of you who will be participating. Keep track of what's going on in our e-blasts, go on to our website and check out Sign Up Genius. Thank you.